No, I might as well crop it a bit further, actually. How low can you go? Because we don't need. You don't need my top. That bar doesn't go away. Okay, cool. Well, you don't need the top bar. You don't. You don't. I might as well crop off. Trim a little off to the side. That's a nice and smooth. There you go. Now it looks professional. And I gotta put it in the center. I'm a professional. Actually, I'm a professional. It's a good term. All right. All right. All right. IRS tactical equipment, wheelchair with police siren attachment, the talking stick, an emotional support cat. Well, you know, you never know if someone doesn't want to talk and gets a little nervous. Always bring your emotional support cat to work. Actually, don't. Don't bring your emotional. Get an emotional support dog, because the cat's just gonna knock everyone's stuff over, and you have to deal with that. Ugh. Anyway, let's get our hands down and dirty, as they say. Okay, you see my mouse? I think you could see my mouse. Yeah, that's good. That's all I need. That's all I need. Let me just double check. Okay, cool. Because I think Bandicam always trims the mouse. This doesn't. All right. We got an Unearthed Arcana. That's a really bad word to use when you're. It's like I don't get this, and it makes me think that this wasn't exactly intended or something. There's a low key, probably not true. Like I bet the most like $2 on it. Conspiracy theory that Spelljammer was such garbage that they used this to cover it up. It's a smokescreen. It's like, oh no, it turns out selling people nothing doesn't work. We have to give them something. What about an emotional support clan? Well, an emotional support clan an emotional support clan knows how to be an adult. They'll stay nice and silent. I'm gonna get into the D&D thing box because I can't. I'll get no. Let's just hop over. There you go. All right, so please use the chat code. It'll be very confusing to everyone who's watching. The two other people in the room who I can't confirm the existence of. Ugh. Anyway, they call it an Arcana, which doesn't make sense to me. If this is a playtest, why is it this? Everyone focuses on the part below that, but I'm very concerned about this. That just sounds to me like something changed at some point, quite early on, and no one bothered to check it. But who knows? Maybe it's just like internally, this is how they register information. Weird. Again, they call it D&D 1 or 1D&D. So why does it have this tagline? Weird stuff. Also, 2020 included month dedication, man. Think of the archivists. Character origins, aka how do you make some? I mean, the classes aren't there, but this is like everything before the class. Everything that happened to your dude before the class even started being a thing. Simple stuff. It's made by the people involved. We know who they are. We know the bad advice they can give sometimes, but don't worry, that's just the advice they give on Twitter and not done in official capacity. Kind of like when a lawyer gives you kind of like when a lawyer says, you know, this is technically not illegal, but in a courtroom they'd say it's definitely illegal. You know, that kind of cutesy stuff. All right. Designed for the player handbook coming out in 2020. Again, they're very it's not a new edition, but we do want you to buy the books. It's not a new edition, but you have to buy the books. Yes, Como. Why did they swap to the to the Xbox numbering? I want D&D 360. Oh, the overlay isn't working, is it? Oh no. Oh, because the overlay isn't here. Whoops. Yoink. Stream overlay. I don't have an opaque background yet, but that's fine. We'll live. It's only mildly confusing, and it's off to the side. I can always just shunt the whole window over. But yes, it's. I guess this is just like the titulature they use for content yet to be released. In which case, still weird, but still strange, but okay. I wonder if this means there's going to be no other Earth Arcana. This is like the it. You're not going to get new playtest material for anything other than 1D&D. Until the playtest is complete, at least. But again, Player's Handbook coming out, which. This section, like, the Player's Handbook. You're not fooling anyone. You're not fooling anyone. Why would you make a Player's Handbook that comes out in 2024 with the same. with the same name and the same designation, same everything. Why would you do that? And it's not this, and it's the same edition somehow. References the same playbook because they are trying to be backwards compatible, which is a lie. 3.0 is not backwards compatible with 3.5 or whatever way you're supposed to order that. It isn't. You can say that it is, but power level wise, structure wise, it just doesn't work. You're lying to yourself. You're telling a nice bold-faced lie. What am I supposed to do with this? It increases my wilderness lore and my no direction, but that's survival now. That's why it heals on that list for self-sufficient. If you were wondering. In case you know that stuff. Providing feedback on this document is one way you can help. I doubt it. I doubt it. I legitimately doubt that that's actually something they're planning to do. Outside of anything that actually, like, is a big deal, but then no. Because, like, they didn't listen before. Why would they start listening now? I'm pretty sure that Mr. Devil's Sight doesn't work like that. And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Devil's Sight doesn't work like that. Doesn't give a shit what you think. They're going to listen to you. They're going to find the parts that people legitimately are like, I'm not going to play it if it's in there. That's all they're looking for. They're looking to get the spicy potato out of the soup, but they're not actually changing the recipe. Because that's just how it works. Pathfinder, for example, in its playtest for 2nd edition, people hated Untrained being level -4 instead of just flat modifier, even though the game supports none of that. Pathfinder 2e became a shit game because they insisted on this. It doesn't have ability rolls, but now it sort of does, but it's just untrained skills. It's so weird. It was the worst decision, and they only made it because people told them. I hope that at the very least, Jeremy Crawford and the Funky Bunch, the moment they have a good idea and someone says, but that's a bad idea, we'll get to that, they get rid of it. But I don't know if I can trust them, because there's a bunch of ideas here. I don't know if they're smart. But let's get down to it. We're going to find character races, a.k.a. what's your genes like? How did you pop out of the womb? What womb did you pop out of? Your background. What do you do for all of your life? Here you'll see a fun role that a character's background is going to play in helping flesh out the character's origin. And that's all it should be. A character should always be defined by their most recent events. I don't like characters that are continuously defined by their background. At some point, you've beaten up enough goblins, you've stumbled on enough people. Like, your background should be a fun stepping stone. It should be a part of those recent events. But at some point, you shouldn't be talking about, when I was a blacksmith. It should be, remember when I fixed that armor in the middle of the dungeon after it got splattered with acid? That should be your story. Like progression, advancement, the recent history, the window shifts over time. Your origin is a fun stepping stone, but it should stick at that. It's a way to get started in the game, but it shouldn't be everything. Because over time, you experience new things. Maybe being in a scary, dark dungeon changed you. Maybe actual lethal combat changed you. Maybe just realizing that someone is willing to tell a bold-faced lie at the risk of your health. Maybe that changed you. But the fact that you're a blacksmith, I get it. Like, I've said this on Twitter. If it is your loyalty mission that you are a prince, blah, 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 yes, it should probably stay relevant throughout the entire proceedings. But if your background is just, this is where I come from, but now I'm an adventurer, and now I'm taking actions, and my agency defines who I am, you shouldn't have that. But if it's like, this is my loyalty mission, this is what I am, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what defines everything I do going forward, yes, you should keep it. But that falls under an important clause, the common sense clause, which is the part where you realize that blanket statements generally come with a common sense exception. Asterisk. They get feats. Oh, it's starting languages. I don't know why. But I didn't like goblins before. But then I tried out that one recipe, and now I can't get enough. Mwah! Anyway, for some reason, they're very insistent on languages, even though no one gives a shit about languages. You want to know who cares about languages? People who play 3.5 and prior, because they play combat as war, and it's not about the combat. It's not about doing the thing. Pathfinder 2e and 5e are about doing the thing. So languages are a bit more because no GM wants to sit there going, you don't understand me, you don't understand me, you don't understand me. There's a reason comprehend languages is a first level spell. There's a reason comprehend languages is a first level spell, because it's not, you can't do much with it that doesn't roadblock. Like, you could do something with it, right? You could be like, here's a dude, he knows a bunch of stuff about the dungeon you're in, but he can't communicate any of that information with you outside of, like, drawing on the walls. That's fun. That's interesting. It's also kind of a limited concept, because it's about the absence of information, but not in the way that's a mystery, but the absence of information in the terms of doing stuff, which isn't the greatest thing. Interpretation is nice, but let's move on. Feats, they're coming back. Remember when feats were an optional rule, except they totally weren't an optional rule because they kept supporting it in funky ways? Well, now they're back. Apparently, feats are always getting a level, because all feats have a level. Fair enough. I think they always should have had a level because the feats are very funky in 5e. There's some you'd never take and some you'd never take. And some you should take. The rules glossary, because they changed a couple of things. They include a polite asterisk. This is very nice. I'm very appreciative that they were like, oh, listen, anytime this something's a little different, we'll mark it for you. Good on them. And I do appreciate that it's like clarified too, because some people are dumb and didn't read the book or didn't get it or didn't read the book that actually contained the one bit that they included because they wrote it in Xanathar's and now it's official, but they're not going to put it anywhere else. Ho ho ho. Please do not correct my slurs in Elvish. I have no respect for the language. Calling someone a whore's mother is way better than having it be corrected, because now it's just like, I'm insulted and confused. Before delving into these new options, because, everyone goes into dungeons nowadays, they're not playing random hopscotch games. Please read that this is playtest material, except it's Unearthed Arcana. What is it? Is it 1D? That's being facetious. Let's move on. To learn about the design, we invite you to view the accompanying video. I've already watched it. You can go watch it yourself. I love that it says the accompanying video, but nowhere in here does it have the YouTube video link, which feels like a thing you should have done. You can include links in PDFs, by the way. You can actually do that. Are they actually going to define it? Oh, they don't. Unarmed strikes are still in this super dumb limbo they invented for themselves. But you can't smite with unarmed strike, says this man. Would you trust this man to make your next edition? I know I'm being facetious, but that man has some weird rulings that I don't think... The problem I have with them is that 5e should not be a game you run based on the rules, but should be run on the rulings, and him having weird rulings that are based on the... This is playtest material. It's designed for feedback, aka we just want to know what shit we can't get... We just want to know what we can't get away with. Anything we can't get away with, we're totally doing regardless on how angry you get. It's in draft form. Usable in your main campaign. How? There's clearly something different going on here. Like... If Pathfinder 2e released, here are specifically the skill proficiencies, I don't think you could integrate that, because the numbers don't add up. Numbers are way different. Okay. How many skill ranks do I get? How many skill ranks is Master? He's a full metal alchemist-style Gygax Tulpa given flesh. That's why he's making weird decisions. Maybe he just has a magic 8-ball that contains a tarot deck. Feedback. The best way is to give feedback, aka we're only going to read the top 3 entries of things you hate and the top 3 entries of things that are problems. They are more or less powerful. Oh, no, they're not. You lying son of a bitch. I mean, they are. We'll see about the Dragonborn in a bit. But determining our origin. After choosing your class, which, by the way, very strange that this is like my origin, and this is like the first document, but also I do this after choosing the class. Which says to me that odds are either the classes aren't done or they are done and they're kind of waiting on it. Going forward, the deck of many things cannot give you rulings because it just gives you random garbage. You need to have just a deck of yes-no cards and the like. Who are my character's ancestors? I don't give a shit. What matters is who my mom and dad are. If my grandfather is a great noble warrior who had a bajillion dollars, but I was raised by my mother who had 2 coins... Don't dwell in the past, as they say. Look forward to your future and take action accordingly. One must learn from the past, not dwell within it. How did your character spend the years leading up to adventure? Only partially relevant. Again, it should be a stepping stone. It should only be like, this is what I can do because of the things that I did, but from now, I will learn my own things. Doesn't work in 5e, because 5e is a shit system that doesn't allow for dynamic character development. Can I move the window to the right a bit? Yeah, I was thinking about that. There, Como. Now you have all the space in the world. And I'm going to use that space to post about shark bait. Yeah! So yes, to answer this... What the hell was that? What the hell was that? I don't know what that said, but I'm scared. Oh. I'm sorry, I'm used to the old notification sounds. Okay, determining origin. We get a race. aka your jeans you wear every morning. Don't forget to stonewash them. We get a background, aka what you been doing with your life. You get a language. You do not get a language. You get three. You get common. You get your background language, and I think you get one free pick, or something like that. But you don't get a language. You get three. Don't be like that video game. A character's a character's race represents ancestry and confers game traits to the character. A character's background is a collection of characteristics that represent the place and occupation that were most formative for the character. See, that's the one I'm used to. Why do I hear that? When that's... Is Streamlabs still in here somewhere? I'm spooked. Oh, heck, I'm spooked now. Alright. Alright. The character overview table will tell you what you need to know. Oh, heck. I'm giving my thoughts right now. One of my thoughts, of course, being as pedantic as, why is this Unearthed Arcana? Why is it called that? Is that just the name they use for playtest material? Oh man, it's the player's handbook coming out of 24. It's not a new edition though. It's just a new handbook with new rules. It's not a new edition though. Ugh. Don't forget, this is the man who had some weird opinions. Can you trust it? Basically, why am I being my own montage? Let's move on. Creature type. This has always existed. It's just that it's never really come up that much. It comes up for like whole person maybe, but that's like the it. Most people forget the creature type even exists unless you're a paladin and you need to smite someone. Size. How big you are. Pretty much everyone is small medium, which doesn't do jack shit other than the heavy trait, which is garbage. I hate the heavy trait. It does nothing that it needs to do. All it does is make people angry. The heavy trait is not a trade-off. It's purely a detriment. It's a detriment that comes with no upside because being small inherently doesn't give you anything. It's a weird bit of realism in a game that doesn't give a shit a lot of the time. If you jump and you run out of movement speed, you fall to the ground. But you can't use a big weapon if you're small. Like, why would you be a small human? There's only downsides. From, like, a pure logistical standpoint. There's no upside to being small, directly speaking. Which is something 5e does a lot. Like, your type doesn't confer benefits. Your size doesn't confer benefits. I think 5e just hates having secondary references. In the sense that, hello, more people, hello. Here's the thing. 5e doesn't do a lot of referential stuff. In Pathfinder, yeah. Oh, the type never confers anything, and I think that's because they don't want people to go, I need to look up the X type in order to know if the X type has X thing. In 3.5, that is terrible. And in Pathfinder 2e, it's even worse. Because in 3.5, it's relatively simple. In Pathfinder 2e, there's a bunch of traits, and some of the traits have some of the things that originally... Speed, how fast you move. It's going to be somewhere between 20 and 30, I assure you. They should have just made it squares. Because honestly, theater of the mind, who cares? Lifespan, aka how long you live. Why is this here? Are they planning something? Are we bringing back that haste ages you a year when you use it? Because otherwise, this doesn't need to be here like at all. You can just make it a little fluff flavor text. Like, my problem is, this is like a part of the important stat block. This is not like a secondary thing. This is like, you need to know this. This is magically important. This is mechanically important. Anyway, what else? We got special traits, aka the cool stuff you can do. In the video, they say they want to make the dwarfiest dwarf. I don't know if they succeeded, but they sure tried. Which is more than I've seen before from them, so hey. Each race provides its special traits. Background traits, aka what your background spits at you. Your background gives you the stuff that a race used to give you because now they've decided that backgrounds need to mean something. Because they're trying to separate your race from your culture. Sure, go nuts. I don't care. It's not something like like race and background are just the stuff you get that isn't part of your class that still contributes to your character. I don't care how it's put together. It doesn't matter. Skill proficiencies, you get 2. Tool proficiency, you get 1. Language, you get 1. Feat, you get 1, but it's a first. Equipment, you get some. That's it. Custom background used to be an optional rule, now the default. I think they should have done that, and now we're going to rant about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, because I hate Pathfinder 2nd Edition with a passion, and it's about to get worse. I think 5e made the right decision by making every background assumed custom, because Pathfinder 2e went the wrong way. Oh boy, did they go the wrong way. So, in Pathfinder 2e, you have pre-built backgrounds. And those backgrounds, they give you an ability boost, they give you a skill feat, and they give you a lore skill. I think is generally what they give. The problem is, you are always going to pick the the background that gives you the boost you need or the skill you want. You want to know what that means? That means you're never, ever, ever, ever going to pick the background because it fits. You're going to pick the background because you need the numbers. Because Pathfinder 2e is built for min-maxing, and if you aren't min-maxing, the game will kick you in the ass. It fucking sucks. Okay, about the languages, let's go in the back because I'm going to make this clear. Starting languages, you start with common, you get one from your background, and you can choose one from the standard table below. You get 3. So in Pathfinder 2e, they should have gone with custom because Pathfinder 2e backgrounds are that simple. They're an ability boost that's preset, a free boost, preset between 2. It's a skill feat and a skill. Why not just make that? You can make whatever you want, I don't care. It should not have been something they have to give you. Because, again, the min-maxing kills it. If it was 3.5, would have been fine. I just pointed out that you get one from your background, one from con. Yeah, no int stuff. I don't think they're ever going to do that again. Because they don't want people to suffer for bad choices. I mean, I get it. Like, if you want to build up, fine. I mean, I am a person who strongly believes in buff, don't nerf, but that's another topic, technically speaking. Oh, wow, wow, wow. I'm going to shake my little butt at the air. Oh, man, Saturdays are made for dads. And dad's car. All right, now that we've learned about Saturdays and dads, your race and background help bring your character's backstory into focus. Please disregard your backstory. If you get to level 4 and your backstory is still defining your character, you fucked up. Or it's your loyalty mission. And they distinguish the character from other members of the same class. I think the actual distinguishing part is all these things, not the background itself. The mechanics are what make you different. But that's facetious, excuse me. For example, 2 characters might both have the same one as a guard, one as a gladiator, 2 different capabilities to flavor the class. Yeah, if they're going to bring back feats and feats do things, then yes, that's actually true for once. Everyone kind of forgets about backgrounds. Apparently inspiration isn't that popular, and bonds and deals flaws also. But they're bringing it back, baby. And they're bringing inspiration back in the worst way possible. Just you wait. When we get to that, I got an axe to grind. And it's a game design axe. And it's garbage. And again, you trust these people to make this new edition. Oh, fucking god, it's shit. Anyway, that's my, that's my impression of early 2000s YouTube reviews. Shit, piss, and such and such. Meanwhile, here's a cool storyline of my character going to space. No, my problem is that in Pathfinder 2e, not this version, in Pathfinder 2e, your background gives you an ability boost, and because Pathfinder 2e is mechanically so tight on the numbers, you pretty much have to min-max or you get clapped. You get clapped. It's a 10% debuff for every +1 you're missing. Clapped, baby. And that game is tight. If you play an AP, you get smacked, you get clapped, you get thrown over the railings like a goon. Ugh, it's awful. After choosing your race and background, choose a language that your character knows in addition to the common tongue, whatever you gain from the background you chose. Don't forget, it's choose with 2 O's and chose with 1. The combination of background and language. Why language? Why is language this big thing that you care so much about? Why is this here? You already get a language, a background language. Like, why does this extra one matter? What is their concern? I want to know. I want to know what they were thinking when they thought this was important enough to be like this little extra at the bottom. Like, it's this little extra at the bottom. Why is this so important? What happened at your table, Jeremy? I want to know. A fertile soil for your character's imagination. You want to know what's also a fertile soil for your character's imagination? You write down a character motivation, a basic physical description, and you just let your brain do as you play. I understand it's fun to have a written out background, but the game is defined by the actions and the events that happen according. As I said, if your background defines your characters after 4 levels of play, after all the things that should have happened, that should have changed your person in some way, the action, the excitement, the betrayal, the emotions, the doing good deeds or failing to do good deeds, if after 4 levels, that doesn't define you, but what you did when you were 4, that is either your loyalty mission or you're bad at playing a character, role-playing, and making choices. Or, you're a wallflower and you're not doing much. Or it's not your quest. It's also possible your GM is just kind of making it all about one guy because everyone else is not doing anything. AKA Como. Oh, God. Okay, fair enough. I really, Really do want to have a conversation about first level, but we'll get to that when we get to critical hits. Anyway, our race, as I mentioned, these are your genes. I, I, I'm just cracked up when I read this. You can decide whether you're a human or a fantastical race. You can be short human. You can be tall human. You can be underground human. You can be human with an Egyptian design. Yeah, the reason you make a new edition is to get rid of the old, out with the old, in with the new. Baby in the bathwater. There's a lot of baby and a lot of bathwater in this, though, already. Now, Biff is GIF is pretty much out the window now because inspiration doesn't tie into it as much as it should, and there's no hint of using it at all. Anyway, your options in this book are you can be a dude, you can be an Egyptian dude, you can be a dude with a really bad skin condition, you can be a small dude, you can be a tall dude, you can be a small dude with HDHD, I guess. You can be a small dude who's really extroverted and kind of doesn't give a shit. You can be a strong person with gangrene, or you can be a dude who's just a little scoundrel. He's just a little scamp. Amazing, fantastical races. Literally only Dragonborn, Tiefling, and Ardling I think are even remotely all that fantastical. Yeah, man. Do you want to be human, other human? Black human is a completely separate race. That's the Red Guard. I wish I was kidding, but the Bretons are the crackers. Oh man, that game has problems with its racial descriptions. Like, come on, man, just have. I imagine that in the lore, which is generally like for Morrowind, the lore no, for the Elder Scrolls, the lore is generally written with a far broader scope. But the minute Todd Howard gets within 5 feet of the design team, they're like, everyone is white now, because Todd Howard is like, I can't relate to this. I just want to make a video game. Why is all this politics in my video game about politics? Because think about it, Morrowind was so much about politics. Holy shit. It's a whole game about the political situation in Vardenfell. And the whole prophecy thing is kind of... I love that the prophecy is just this big cream that's on top of a cake. Ugh. A lizard-shaped potted plant that has no concept of gender that changes shape based on how much tree sap I ate as a grub. AKA Argonians. Gosh, they're goofy. And then you have the Khajiit, which come in... You can have tiger, or you can have man. And there's many in between. And those love for mixed tactics. That's what the book Mixed Tactics is about, right? Mixed unit tactics. Oh man, there's so much. And then there's that book about a dude who's like, I'm a poor slave, but I know how to fight an Argonian turf, and so he beat the crap out of a dude with fancy armor. Great story. It's in a book. I don't care how good those books are. The games around it started going downhill. With Skyrim effectively just being a glorified look at mountain simulator. Look at rocks. You can look at rocks with dead people on them. Rocks with evil people on them. Or you can look at rocks with very loud people on them. This rock has a dragon. Anyway, the description of each race gives you traits, aka your race changes something about you. You know? Because if I'm very small, and I'm also very wide, that changes who I am. It doesn't change your ability scores, which, again, I don't really care too much about. I think it's fine. I think all this stuff is just random garbage that changes you from your class. Period. And there's a Horium period. Oh, God. The Lusty Argonian, I imagine, is someone's, like, golden crown of, like, I got away with this. I got this in the game, Mom. I am the porn man. Anyway, half-breeds aren't around. Half-breeds, you literally just get 2 parents, and one parent gives you all your important game statistics, and you can look like whatever you want. Flavor is free. Your lifespan is the average because of reasons, because apparently lifespan matters. Are they changing things? Are they going to make games take longer? Because I really can't see this whole lifespan thing coming back to the idea of your life matters. Things take months. You can't long rest 2 days and you're fine. You know, if that's what they're going for, this makes sense. If not, who cares? Like, it needs to mechanically do something for this to matter. Otherwise, this is just setting fluff. And I don't need that in my books. It's a whole extra line. Well, multiple extra lines because it keeps getting referenced. Anyway, humans. Let's talk about humans. I made I'm going to pull this one up because I think it's important, because I once made humans for... I made a human variant for Starfinder because I thought humans were just awful. They never did anything with them, and I didn't like it, and I'm going to look at humans in Starfinder, both the one that they have and the one that I made, because why not? Ugh. Oh, they were still called races back then. Humans. Humans in base Starfinder, they get a +2 to 1 score, a 4 hit points bonus, and they get a feat and a skill. They're basically the 3.5 implementation of it. I didn't like that. I think it's stupid. I think it's boring. I think it's lame. I gave them adventurous. Humans get a +1 to all saves because humans are stupid. They fall down hills. Humans have this game called running after cheese, where a wheel of cheese goes down a hill and everyone goes, "Ha, I'm running after cheese," and they get hurt. I think humans deserve a +1 to saves because they're stupid. They're giant idiots, but they make it through. And then I gave them reckless, which is they can spend resolve points to gain a +1 to a die roll or roll with advantage. If it fails, you get to treat the result as if they roll a 1, aka your GM gets an excuse to clap you if you fail despite that. I just thought it was funny. I think it just shows that humans are these stupid risk takers who get into trouble but always seem to get out of it in the end, because that's what humans are. They invent stupid machines and blow themselves up, and they live for no reason. Human history is stupid. It's hilarious. It makes me laugh. Casting from life. Yeah, that's always great. Maybe they bring back Dark Sun with preservers and defilers, and I would love that. But they're not going to do that because, remember, this is 5e. You never get punished for anything. You never get punished for anything. If there's no negatives, you just get to do the thing. You just get to do the thing. Because we're nice here, we're all polite. Anyway, found in them throughout the multiverse, humans are as varied as they are numerous. I hate this statement, and I want it to die. They are relatively short-lived. Yes, sure they are. They keep rolling down hills with wheels of cheese. But they strive to achieve... They also go in these big inflatable zorbs, and they roll down hills in that. Like, what is it with humans and rolling down hills? On sleds? On their feet? In giant inflatable plastic orbs? What's next? Oh, they roll down cars too. Tell that to my GM. Como, you don't play humans. Como, you always play a lizard. If you can get away with it, at least. They are relatively short-lived, but they strive to achieve as much as they can in the years they're given. They live 80 years. That's a lot. Don't be like that, game. They are pioneers and artisans. Let me read this in a posh verse. They are builders of nations, roads, cities, and ships. Elves cannot build roads, nations, cities, or ships. Elves can build paintings. They strive to secure their place in the world. And this is anyone. How is this just humans? Oh, humans' true trait is that they're ambitious. No, make their trait that they're stupid idiots who get into trouble. Because that's what they do. I hate this. Ambition is not a... This implies that dwarves don't give a crap, and they just lie on the ground and they sleep all day. Humans are as diverse in the people that they've many got. I have a problem with all of this, by the way. You know... So, these guys are like, they are made by Bahamut and Tiamat. You know, the dwarves, you know, they were made by some jackass. The elves, they were made by some dude. But humans, I don't know, they just kind of showed up. Because why make an interesting human race? It's going to get worse, though. We're going back to 3.5 humans. Sigil. Interesting that they mentioned Sigil. Sigil's a cool place. It has many doors, and there's a Lady of Pain who will kick your ass. She will kick your ass. I don't get why there's, like, this description, and then they're like, the humans of many worlds. I don't get this. I think they are going for a multiverse, because they're trying to do the thing that Gygax had, where everything is technically the same multiverse. Ugh. I don't like that idea. I think it's silly. But only because it's silly. I think that, like, as an idea, it's fine. But, like, as an implementation concept, it's like... Sure, I guess. Anyway, people can be small now. They can't be large, though, because we don't actually have any rules for that. You move as fast as anyone should. As a human, you have special traits. You gain inspiration, asterisk, whenever you finish a long rest, asterisk. Apparently, they're changing long rests. You gain proficiency in one skill of your choice. You gain the skilled feat, or another first level feat. Skilled feat gives you 3 extra skills, so you can start with 4 bonus skills if you want to, or you can pick a first level feat. You're going to pick lucky because lucky is super good. In addition, you get inspiration, so you pretty much start with a baby version of lucky. You always start with inspiration. It means you always get that early morning advantage. Humans are whatever the hell they want to be, because humans are humans, and we don't give a crap. Giving humans a culture means specifying a setting, so we're not doing that. Might as well delete all of this and just remove it, because it doesn't matter. Ardlings. Ardlings are a garbage name because they remind me of aardvarks and of the Dutch word for ard, which means earth, which makes me think that earthlings, they are supernatural beings called earthlings. Mind blown. Ardlings are supernal. Is that a word? Can I be a supernal being? I want to be a supernal being. Oh, it's of exceptional quality or extent or related to the sky or celestial. Oh, that's pretty cool. I never knew that. I've learned a word today, even though it doesn't sound like a word. Because supernal, it's a bit clumsy. Beings are who either born in the upper planes or if one or more ancestors originated from there. They're not Azamar for furries. I'll get to that. I know furries. Their bright souls shine with the light of immortal beings who call the upper planes their home. They never get sleep because they keep glowing all over the place. Funnily enough, they don't actually get a glow ability, which is just like, what? Only these guys get that. Ardlings have a head that resembles an animal. Okay, they do get the fur, and they get the head. But they don't get the tail, they don't get the paws, they don't get the claws, they don't get anything else. They only get the head. That's not furries. The freaking Neko have more going on than these guys do. Oh, they got a head? No. Furries want the tail, they want the paws, they want the claws, they want the bird feet. You're not getting that here. You're getting this. What is it? What is it? Why? Do tieflings get tails? Because that's the big question. Because if not, then clearly people at WotC have a significant hatred of tails. Let's see. More Outlook. Let's just Google search this. Yeah. Okay. So, if you want to have a tail in 5e, you need to be an Infernal Tiefling. Because they're the only ones who get a tail. Not the Dragonborn. Not any other Tiefling. Not the Ardlings. Only the Infernal Tieflings. Because apparently tails are this massive, huge character buff. If you have a tail, you've busted the game. Level 1, no. Level 5, no. Level 10, no. You can get flight at level 10, but you're not getting a tail. Breaks the game. Seriously, it's not furries if they don't have a tail. WotC, you're fucking it up. You're never getting the furries like this. People are going to ignore this anyway. They get a measure of magical power, as well as the ability to manifest spectral wings. That's weirdly specific. And Ardling's more unethical is self-determined, however, because despite the fact that we're making alignment a lot more of a deal by the looks of it, it's not a deal. It's weird. It's really weird. I guess the alignment planes are getting expanded, but nothing else. I'm just saying that, like, if you're gonna go for furry bait, make it good furry bait. Don't half-ass it, man. Go the whole mile. Then GMs know to ban it. Now they're just Egyptian weirdos. Anyway, you can get Exalted. They come from Arborea, which I think is chaotic. Oh, I don't even know anymore. No, this is chaotic. No, this is neutral goods. Yeah, this is the chaotic. This is the lawful. I still think it's kind of weird. We got heaven hanging around. But hey. Why is it ordered like this? Why is it chaotic lawful neutral instead of chaotic neutral lawful? Or the other way. Whatever. Weird details. The Beastlands. But you can't have a tail. Wait. Are the Beastlands just occupy... Okay. Well, there's probably overlap. Because neutral plane's pretty close to it. Listen. I'm not... The excuse, just ask your GM, never works from a analytical perspective. Because when you're talking about white black boxing, you can't do that. You just can't do that. The common frame of reference are the rules as they are written. You can't say, well, in my house, when that's not the argument anyone's having. And again, asterisk, common sense assumptions. Just include that with every conversation you ever have. Assume that common sense applies to any blanket statement that doesn't make sense otherwise. Anyway, you're a humanoid. Even though you come from space, you're just a person, I guess. I mean, to be fair, if you made them an outsider, again, charm person, whole person wouldn't work. The very rare time that ever matters, but whatever. I imagine it's also so that tieflings can stay humanoids, because otherwise tieflings get smitten. And they're like, ouch, that hurts. They live 200 years. Why? Nobody knows. I guess they're just that cool. As an Ardling, you gain these special traits. You can... So Tree Monk mentioned this, and I'm going to mention it too. This is not flight. This is not flight. This is a 60-foot at most jump. That's all it is. If I can't stay in the air in between turns, it's not flight. It's just a jump. What makes it flight? The power to be in the air and stay in the air. This does not let me stay in the air, because once the movement ends, I hit the ground. Anyway, you can use this bonus action. Oh yeah, bonus actions are sticking around, even though they are awful. They're sticking around. But I think it's actually something else. They might still get rid of them, and it's only in here because they want the playtest material to be compatible with 5e. They couldn't use whatever new action system they're using, even if it's just making bonus actions things you do in conjunction with normal actions, etc., etc. This might just be for compatibility purposes. We don't know, because again, compatibility purposes are to be considered. Anyway, daily abilities. A whole bunch of characters, and people get, you can use XX amount of days per day. Very boring. I don't like it. I think it's the 3.5 messiness all over again, baby. Anyway, where you're from actually changes a lot. First, it's suggested animals. Not restricted, it's suggested, so I'm not complaining about that. But look at these spells. You can get Thaumaturgy and Divine Favor. I don't forgot what that actually does. Let's look these spells up and let's see who got the better deal. Anyway, if you want to, you can put on the Price is Right music, because I think that's appropriate for this one. Thaumaturgy is, I think, the better one when it comes to just raw fun times. Don't you get Dark Vision? Oh, you don't get Dark Vision, so light actually makes sense. So Thaumaturgy lets you make loud noises, flickering flames, harmless tremors, or a sound. Awe-inspiring. Or you can also alter the appearance of your eyes. You can make doors open. Okay, it's not much. It's not great, but it's something. It's a cute little guidance. Will make your GM shit their pants and hate your guts. I'm going to cast guidance before you did that, and add a 1d4. You know how it goes. Como, you know how it goes. You've done this all the time, Como. Ugh, the Price is Right music is great. Please listen to it as we go along. And light is a light source. It's just a light source. That's it. It's just that simple. For what action? Bada bing, bada boom, it's there. Don't forget to buy Spell Focus. Divine Favor. Isn't that like a combat buff? Divine Favor. You do 1d4 extra damage on a hit. Bonus action to cast. Concentration 1 minute. It's a paladin spell. In Japanese, pick orcs. Oh, great. Thaumaturgy is a great way to wake up the party in the morning. So I personally... Divine Favor is good. It's not amazing, but if you're a marshal and you don't need your bonus action for anything, being able to cast that, how many times a day? Once a day. Not bad. It's 1d4 extra damage. You can't go wrong. It's concentration. If you cast it, you use it, and if it goes away, who cares? Weapon attacks. So if you're a ranged character, this is even better, because if you're a ranged character, you just get 1d4 extra damage with no real risk, for the most part. Cool. Cure Wounds. You can cast that. Good, in case you need to bring someone up back to their feet. Who cares? Just a little extra heal who never hurts. Never hurt anyone. Or can get Healing Word. Another great way to pick pop. This feels weird that, like, 2 of them get this, and then this one is this. So far, I think Idyllic is, like, the best one in terms of raw power, because Guidance is nice, and this is nice. This is more, like, a bit more specific. But let's get to the ones that no one cares about. Lesser Restoration is a spell you forgot existed, but it's nice. It might actually help you. It gets rid of blindness, deafness, paralyzation, or poisoning. Just that simple. Or disease. I mean, if you need it, it's nice to have, I guess. If you need it, it's there. Zone of Truth. Who cares? Zone of Truth is one of those spells that doesn't really shake out as well as it should. It's fairly specific campaign-wise. I don't know. It could come in nice. It's not bad. You know, you could light and cure wounds and you could get a little thing. Animal Messenger is weirdly specific again, but I guess that's just the theme of the day, is weirdly specific, but alright. Cure Wounds is useless because combat healing in general is terrible. Your hit points go up more than Cure Wounds can keep up, is the problem. You can buff Cure Wounds a lot by just having your spell modifier add as many times as you have dice. So when you cast it at second level, it's 2d8 plus twice your spell modifier, would massively ups the reduction. There's a reason why Pathfinder 2e made it 1d8 plus 8 if you go for the 2-action version. Anyway, you get to cast each of these once a day, except for the cantrip. You get that one unlimitedly, and you have to wait a certain amount of levels. I like this a lot because I like the Raptor and Flight, but hey, just nice. You get to pick your ability too. Your resistance to Radiance, that ability that everyone has to worry about. Radiant isn't very likely. It is often used as a buffer, but for things you shouldn't be fighting in the first place. If you ever get into a scrap with a Paladin, though, you're good. The Ardlings of many worlds, they bring a little bit of heaven with them. They might not have been there, but bring it with them anyway. Let's go to the Dragonborn. They were made from eggs, because Bahamut and Tiamat wanted to colonize the world. As you do. Created in their image, but they don't get tails and they don't get wings. In their image. Even though Tiamat has 5 heads and they have 1. I'm just saying, Tiamat, you're kind of fucking it up here. Dropping some stitches. Failing. I would call this a D-grade image. Another is that the Creator of the Gods... In 3.5, you went into a magical egg when you joined a cult and you became a Dragonborn. And they were all Bahamut's good boys. I like that version more. And that half-dragons are Tiamat's thing. But hey... encapsulating terms. Encapsulating. It's a good word. Dragonborns look like wingless. They are wingless. Bipedal dragons, they don't have tails because that would be fucking busted. They have horns on their head, though. They are a color that matters. They cannot be any color that isn't part of the dragon cosmology. When 2 Dragonborn whose scales produce a child, they have to choose one. Your child cannot be of mixed race. That is a very bad sentence, but that is technically what they're saying. Oh, that's bad. Thanks, Watsy. Like their dragon ancestors, they can exhale acid, cold, lightning, fire, or poison. Talk about a case of bad breath. One can tell the type by the color of their scales, because, they're linked. Holy moly. They are humanoids. Even though they are very much like dragons, they're still just people. They're size tall. They have speed. They live as long as people. Why are they like humans are relatively short-lived, but like Dragonborn live as long? They're dragons, the practically immortal beings, and they live as long as people do. Jesus, I'm gonna downgrade that D to a D-. They are not in your image, and you fudged it. As a Dragonborn, you gain the following traits. 1, you gain a resistance. I don't know. It's just nice to have, I guess. You might notice that there's a slight preference to fire. And, yeah. Poison can go jump off a cliff, and acid can too. But to be fair, poison and acid aren't the best. Poison is, often resistant and immune, and acid is... Anyway. They never give Dragonborn any lore. But in 3.5, they had lots of lore. Don't worry, just steal the 3.5 stuff, and you can go a long way. Hell, you could even pick, your thing. Do you have Dragon Heart, Dragon Mind, or Dragon Wings? And they could take all kinds of cool feats, and you really felt like, I'm a cool boy. I sat in an egg, and I meditated, and now I'm a new person. I've been reborn. This is baptism. Anyway, as an action. This is so bad. It's worse than an actual cantrip. This is worse than a cantrip. And I wish I was joking. A 15-foot cone is awful. It's really short. It's not great. Listen, generally speaking, you want to crimp races down and give them meaning. It's better to have a few races that mean a lot than have a lot of races that mean nothing. Fudge that one up myself, by the way. I do it often because I just can't say no to those cute little faces. Anyway, this does 1d10 plus your character level and damage. They have cantrip scaling, aren't using it. Your level, who fucking cares? At 10th level, I can do 10 plus 1d10 damage. Or I can take the attack action and beat someone up. Or I can cast a spell. Do you know that Fireball does more damage than this? On average? At 5th level? I'm just saying, Watsy, this sucks. Why is it an action? You made it a bonus action version. And then they just nope. And I'll tell you why. Just take a minute and sit right there. It's because the player's handbook version doesn't have that. The only reason this version is garbage is because it needs to look like the player's handbook version, or otherwise it would be more powerful and it wouldn't work. Jesus Christ, sacred cows and chains. Are you designing a new version, Watsy, or are you just copy-pasting and afraid that the teacher will call you out for plagiarism? You can use it, it's amount of times equal to your who fucking cares bonus. You get to use 1d10 plus 1 twice. I don't know. It's alright, I guess. It can get rid of some goons if you roll well. Yeah, I guess like how good how strong is a goblin? How many hit points does a baby goblin have? Let's pull her up. If you're fighting a nerd, an absolute goblin, he has 7 hit points. Oh, that's actually awful, right? Oh god. Oh, and they have 2. Oh, ugh. So at baby level, odds are a goblin isn't going to die to this, which makes it ugh. Anyway, you get damage resistance. Yay! It's probably going to be fire. I mean, it's not bad. Damage resistance is nice. It's an energy type. More likely to show up. And you have dark vision. They do now because everyone got really mad. I would have given this an F if dark vision wasn't back because... Also, you get another language. I guess. Seriously, if they didn't have dark vision, which dragons, generally speaking, do, I would have made it Tiamat and Bahamut, image, F. They look nothing like you other than the scales. They're just people in scale suits. Nothing else. They have the crappiest breath weapon. Oh, God, Como, that's a terrible meme. What is with the French with you today? The Dragonborn have a mystical bond to the material plane and spread across many worlds. They were built near dragons, so they could kiss them. Give them a little kiss. Apply their skills, etc., etc. Dwarfs, resilient like mountains. They were raised from the earth. They were made of clay. Hope they actually make lighting rules this time. We'll see. Called by various names on different worlds. They have an affinity for stone and metal and living underground, squat and often bearded. They're dwarves. What are you expecting? They are medium, but they are also 4 feet. They live a bajillion years. As a dwarf, you can see in the dark. You don't care about poison. If an effect offers the... Weird stuff, but probably just makes sense. You get an extra hit point. That's new, I think. And also weird. No ability score increases, but technically you get an extra comp point. So if you're playing a Dwarven Barbarian, Also, Poisoned is pretty bad for Barbarians, because they want to go for Reckless, and Reckless, you know, can negate, but... Forge-wise, you gain a tool proficiency. Yay! I know how to make sandwiches. Stone Cunning, you can rub your hands on stone. And then you can sense things in 60 feet distance. If this can let you sense through walls, that's great. If not, You're probably on stone. It's a very commonly used material, so it's fine. This is nice. I mean, yeah, it kind of does wrap in the hole. You can sense things easier, too. I don't know. This is very, very passive. This is nice, but, like, kind of specific in what it's for and what you can do with it. Like, oh, I can sense beyond the puzzle door. Oh, there's mechanics inside, I guess. And there's a passage, of course. But, like, this is a passive, for the most part. This is a passive. I still don't like tool proficiencies. They're stupid. They should have been the other way around. And this is very passive. It's very much, here's some stuff. You know? It doesn't excite me. Like, breath weapon is kind of exciting. You get to make a choice here. You get to be something. And with Ardling, you get to fly a little bit. That's exciting. That's usually nice to have. I mean, it's just a big jump, not a real flight. And humans, they get to pick a feat. They get to pick lucky. They get lucky. They get lucky twice. Well, they get 4 lucky, because they start with 1, then they get 3 for free. We'll get to that. Anyway, dwarves in the multiverse. They live wherever the hell they want to, but they usually live under a mountain. Elves. The first elves could change their form at will. That makes them clownfish, I guess. They lost this ability when they said naughty things, and when they joined up with Lolth. Not really. I think this is just like sensing. You still have disadvantage because you don't know where exactly they are. It's also 10 minutes, so like you could scan a room with this and find secret passages, which, you know, that's a lot stronger than I think they imagined it would be. Because technically, if this lets you sense, if it let's look in the back. Let's look at baby in the back. Let's see what they say about this stuff. Here you go. Can pinpoint the location of moving objects in a specific range. Oh, really? Okay, so they can't... I imagine you could see through walls with this. Like, you can tell where the wall begins and ends. And if it doesn't do that, if that's not intentional, that you can't, like, sense secret passages, then it's garbage. Then it's absolute shit. All it lets you do is detect moving things. Oh, I'm just going to stand still. I'm already fighting some dude. That's a bit facetious. But, like, if it doesn't let you see through walls, it doesn't do what it used to. Ugh. Anyway, elves. No longer able to shapeshift their will, they retreated to the Feywild. Why? Why is this sentence built like this? Oh no, I can't become a woman. I guess I'm going to join up with some Fey. That's a sensible way to change my life. Where their sorrow was deep. What? What the hell's going on with these elves? First they commit treason, then they go to some random ass place, and now they're all sad. Have the mystical ability to take on the characteristics because they're just that sad. They have no identity left. Elves are blessed with long life. Why didn't they take that away when they got kicked out? Why was Coral on? Oh, you still get to keep your immortality, I guess. See you later. And long memories. From birth, they don't sleep, but instead enter a trance. Why? I don't know. They just do. Again, there's this divine connection. Explain it a bit more. Give me something to work with. Like, why did they go into a trance? Are they connected? What Nels remembers during this reverie largely depends. Come on, man. This is just sleeping with extra steps. They have pointed ears and tend to be light on their feet. They don't get a bonus to dex, though, because that's for your background. They commonly lack facial and body hair. Is that why dwarves don't like him? The dwarves are just like, oh, he doesn't have a beard. And the elves are like, oh, he has a beard. And the humans are like, I've got a stubble. I like both. Elves are tall. Elves have speed. Elves live forever. It doesn't matter, because I don't know what matters about this. Our game is going to last hundreds of years now. I don't know. Elves can see in the dark, because low-light vision doesn't exist. Elves gain a lineage. It gives them some spells. Yay! Elves have advantage on Charmed, because they went to the Feywild. Elves can see good. They can also see in the dark. Their eyes are just that special. And they don't sleep. I guess weren't elves originally described as aloof? And now they're all like, I can see everything. Maybe that's their aloofness, is they get distracted by everything they see. Anyway, they don't sleep. They take a long rest and they just take a little nap. They just sit there and pick their noses for 4 hours and then they're done. What do you get as an elf? Drow get to see further and they know dancing lights, which is the worst cantrip. Actually, the worst one is like poison spray, but like dancing lights is awful. It's concentration, takes an action. The light sources are not great. I mean, the best use is making it into a person. You can make it into a person shape, or you can use it to scan a cave. But that's a specific use case, and making it look like a person is like, you know, that Mr. Burns alien thing. Fairy Fire, though, I think is pretty good. That's the blindness spell, or am I always keep mixing it up with the other one? Fairy Fire. Oh no. Oh gosh, really? If it fails the dexterity throw, you get advantage on them if you can see them, and they can't benefit from invisible. That's really good. That's actually really nice to have. That's a really good one. And then darkness, which, does that affect dark vision in this version? I don't know. I know that in Pathfinder it doesn't. No, not that one. No, darkness, not dark vision. My brain got all mixed up. Darkness. Magical darkness. A creature with dark vision can't see through this darkness. So, that's alright. It's a nice thing to block off a passage. High Elf gets Prestidigitation, which is a nice one. And they can replace it with Arcane, aka they get whatever the hell cantrip they want. They can detect magic once. That's alright. You never know about that. I got a Misty Step. Once. I mean, I'm glad that it got buffed up to 5th level, because the elves that could do this just like that kind of busted. Wood Elf, you gain 5 more speed. Who cares? It's 1 space. You want to know what happens when my player's like, oh man, I wish I had 5 more feet of movement. I say, sure, you make 5 more feet of movement. Who cares? No one cares. If you care, get out of here. You're playing 5e. Go play Pathfinder 2nd Edition if you care so much about 5 feet. You gain Druid Craft. Druid Craft is fine. It lets you make little flowers. That's cute. Oh, I get to make a little flower. I get to tell the weather. Yay! Oh no, that's... Wait, did that let them tell the weather? Yeah, that's what you can do. You can make a flower blossom. You can make a harmless sensory effect, or you can snuff out a light. That's cute. It's just cute. Every single one of those cantrips has the ability to put out campfires. I love it. Longstrider, aka move faster. Oh, I get to move 5 more feet, but at third level, I get to increase my movement speed by 10. Oh, so 45. That's all right. That's like you can move as far with the dash action as rogues can with double dash. That's all right. Lasts an hour, takes an action. You can cast that before a couple of fights, and you're good. That's not bad. Pass without trace, aka busted. It gives you a +10 modifier, effectively making it nearly impossible to get detected. This spell should not exist because it does not follow bounded accuracy or anything. A +10. What are they thinking? A +10 is like 15th level with max modifier proficiency. What the hell? Seriously. The stealth rules aren't even that great. God dang it, Como. That's a big tongue. Elves do stuff. Elves have white hair and dusky gray skin tones. But they're lavender in Pathfinder. They look like Smurfs. I'm surprised they didn't get rid of this. I guess dusky gray is like, we get to call them black without calling them black. There were 2 drow who weren't murderous, torturous assholes who promoted a matriarchy that killed and enslaved people. Just 2. And now they're good guys. Or at least they're not inherently evil. Again, their culture just sucks ass. I'm sure that drow on their own can be pretty nice if they're raised properly. I like to believe that. That's how most of my settings work. At least on some worlds, Hell Elves prefer to call themselves anything else because there's not enough weed. The sun and moon... Ugh, I just want to drown them. This small section alone makes me want to grab an elf and drown him, asking, okay, so, how's that highness working out for you, highness? Prestidigitation ain't gonna help with this one. Hood elves. I mean, you could Misty Step out of it if it was 5th level. Oh. Wait, Misty Step has a verbal component, right? He can't use that underwater. He can't use... Yeah, he's screwed. Wood elves are known across the multiverse as the guys that live in the trees. They have no culture, they just hang out in trees. Gnomes. The race that I don't know why they're around. They don't fit the setting at all, ever. Because they usually hang out with Magitech, and that does not make sense in fantasy, but whatever. Garl, Glitter Gold, Bevan World Wonder, Cloak Shadow. What a bunch of garbage names. I hate all of them. They are petite folk with big eyes, pointed ears, and wistful imaginations. That's not a physical description. That implies something else. Harkening back to the time when the ancestor hid in tunnels. They could talk to badgers and everything, right? Yeah. Anyway, they're good at saving throws, I guess. They can see in the dark. They live a while. They are small. They are that fast. Gnomish lineage. By the way, if you're one of those idiots who use this movement speed to calculate, like, chases, stop and don't do that. It's a bad idea. Gnome lineage. They get a lineage. Yay. They can pick between rock, in which case they get mending, and can't prestidigitation. Everyone always gets mending wrong, because that takes like a while to cast. It's not instantaneous. You know, minor illusion, which is pretty good. You can also speak with that. This is pretty good stuff. Pretty good spells. Nice and flexible, useful in a pinch, and, nice and flexible and useful in a pinch. Nice, just nice. Oh god, there's a whole secondary section that, because of the cutoff, does not blend properly. Oh, you can make a little boy. Oh. So you can just give someone else a prestidigitation? A wand of prestidigitation? Fair enough. What? Why does it need 10 gold pieces of material and then you just get it back anyway? Oh, I need 30 gold pieces before I can do all of it. Anyway, gnomes sure are gnomes. Kryn, the Dragonland setting. we're getting dangerously close to some more problems regarding inspiration. No, this is not a ritual. This is just like a specific thing they can do with prestidigitation. They can make a little thing with it. That is just a prestidigitation device. Halfling, cherished and guided by gods who value life, home, and hearth. Halflings, there's a lot of H's. There's a lot of H's in there. They're blessed. They're cats. They're just cats with a little bit of dog in them. Anyways, look at the harflings. Harflings. Harflings and scarflings. Ah, my packages. They are small. They move at... Why does everyone move at 30 feet? What? Didn't they move, like, slower? Yeah. Like, gnomes are 25. Yeah, halflings are 25. They just got rid of that. So everyone just moves speed. Except the wood elves. Did the dwarves move speed? Yeah, even the dwarves moved speed. What? Everyone just moves the same... Why even have movement speeds, then? Because at this point, everyone's just the same. Ugh. Weird. I'm so small, but I move as fast as everyone else. Anyway, they're nimble. They can move through people bigger than them. I don't... Most people already do this, but I guess it's for enemies. Yeah, because you could... Does moving into someone's space count as triggering attack for opportunity? Probably not, because it's still, like, threatened. Brave. You don't care about frightened. You're basically like a dwarf. But for spookiness. You can sneak. You gain a reroll on a 1 on a d20. I don't like that. Because that means they're likely to get inspiration. Also, this isn't advantage. This by the way is bad. This stacks with advantage, thus it stacks with inspiration. I don't like this. This ain't great. Nah, it's really stealthy. Also, yeah, super advantage isn't here anymore. No. Oh no. You can read this as super advantage. Oh, that is... Why? So, if you roll with disadvantage and you roll a 1, you can take the 1. You must use the new roll. I think you can read this as saying that the new roll is only the new die and not the old die. I think. I think the right read is that all the dice are part of the same quote-unquote... No, they're part of a test. But you... Whatever. Point is, your GM can be an idiot and get this one in a way that doesn't work. Also, can't help but notice there's not a lot here. This is kind of This is kind of And this is like like human. I don't know. This feels very lame. Also, for people who are described as cherishing love, home, and hearth, they sure don't have anything that makes them like amiable. They're just little bastards who get lucky. They're cats. They're assholes. They sneak around. They steal your stuff because they don't care. Ugh. Ooh, I wonder if the Kender are in here, or the Kinder, or whatever they're called. Please keep listening to the Price is Right tune in your head. You must. The tall fellows. Orcs. Ah, these are new. That's going to be the new canon race other than the Ardlings. The orcs are going to be in a core set now. Orcs direct their creation to Grumsh. Or Grumsh. You're right. They should have had cooking 2 as a... Why not? Come on, Watsy. You want 2 proficiencies? Give him some. Should have given elves woodworking or something. I don't know. Just feels sensible. Even they forgot about 2 proficiencies making this stuff. Even they. An unstoppable war and a powerful leader. Grooms would weird guy. Grooms armed his children with certain gifts. Might, endurance, determination, ability to see in the dark. What? I thought... This just reads very strangely. Grooms, why are you so generous? Just like, why are the gods like this? They're like, oh, well, sure, I guess you betrayed me and you're leaving, but you keep everything, I guess. It's fine. I'll just cry in the corner. They are, on average, tall and broad. Just gotta include that little section. Prominent lower canine and resemble small tusks. Don't forget, it's painless to drill through your tusk to put a ring in there. Druid Craft taught me that one. Young orcs, often taught about their ancestors' ancient the elves in the forest, the dwarves under the mountain. AKA, they beat up everyone. It's called severance pay. It's called their golden handshake. Orcs are very tall, but they're still medium, because the size category technically caps off at 8. They are as fast as everyone else. They don't live shorter than human. Why are humans described as short-lived? They're the bottom, yes, but like most people live longer. But like a lot of people, whatever. These aren't described as short-lived. What's the deal? Anyway, they're as fast as everyone else, even though they probably should be faster and they should live shorter because that's how they've always been. But sure, I guess they're new orcs. Adrenaline rush. They can take the bonus dash action. Cool. That's cool, so they can move very quickly if they want to. They gain some extra. They gain a absolute garbage amount of temporary hit points. This is only here so that thieves don't complain. Like, this is only here so that rogues don't complain. This is not exciting. I would not be excited for 2 extra hit points at level 3. I would not care. I mean, nice, and it probably makes the difference sometimes, but like, by that point, you probably have better things to spend your bonus action on, like picking your nose. You can look in the dark. Very common thing. A lot of people have it. Powerful build. Who cares? No one uses carrying capacity rule, so unless they're bringing that back, it does not matter. I guess. No one's going to do the math on how much you can actually push and lift when it comes to big boulders. Relentless endurance. Once per long rest, you cannot die. Nice. Yeah. They keep talking about the multiverse, but then they keep bringing up like specific gods. Very strange. On many worlds, they are the natives, and you are colonializing them. Please keep that in mind as you slay them by the bunches. Remember to put their children in bondage and remember to act surprised when the slave uprising happens. You gotta act surprised, like, oh no, how could this possibly have happened? All these angry strong people are trying to kill me for enslaving them, but I gave them civilization. Oh no. It's great. Orcs often flock to the banners of powerful monarchs. King Obud many arrows of total. Why is this here? Oh, because it's the multiverse, but like, why is there so much dedicated to one guy? Here's a guy that they like. Cool. Why not just leave the mission and be like, oh, there's just some dude. He's from Forgotten Realms. Done. Oh, I see why it is. It's because they want to be like, orcs aren't murderers. Orc want to make friends too. Oh man, that's actually pretty badass. Orcs fight off hell. Does that mean Doomslayer is an orc? Or half-orc? That'd be cool. To be fair, Oberon, everyone kind of lives with each other. It's the political intrigue you gotta watch out for. Tieflings! They were born in either the lower planes or have Fiendish ancestors, just like the Ardlings. Pronounced tiefling. Like teeth. Like the things in your mouth. A Yugoloth or some other fiend. This connection is, for better or worse, a Fiendish legacy. But they have to decide if this affects their alignment, because you can't be punished for your choices. Abyssal. The heartless entropy of the abyss, the howling chaos of pandemonium, and the vast despair of the Cassette. Nice. Black blood. Orcs occupy their own land. This is their land. They're the natives. They deserve this land. I've been a bad player. Punish me, GM. Peculiar odor. The peculiar odor you're talking about is called medieval hygiene, and it's not great. People just smell. I bathe once a year. Actually, they bathe a lot more, and like cleanliness was not that bad, but it's still not great. Like, people aren't gonna notice unless you smell like sulfur. All right. Okay, we got this. I just wanted to know if there was anything about that. Chthonic. I think they were No, they were daemons. In Pathfinder, the Grey Wastes are daemons. But 5e has the Grey Wastes, where the demons and the devils have massive wars. So there's really not a middle plane. The middle plane got eaten by the other boys having a great big old punch out. So there's no neutral evil plane. Which, fair enough. I think there should just be one evil plane, because it gets kind of messy now. Okay, where does Hitler go? To lawful evil hell or to chaotic evil hell? I've rolled a cleric at 13 levels, 14 wisdom, upcast, healing word at level 16, level 6. Wow, 64 plus 2. It'd be way cooler if it was 64 plus 12, because now it's like a cool number. Like I said, should have done it. Anyway, you can be, or you can be, Orcs can't be small. Elves can't be small. Dwarves are very short, but they are not small. Dwarves cannot be small. Humans can, but not dwarves. You are not allowed to have a tail. It's OP and it's busted. There's weird exceptions here that make me tilt my head. They are as fast as everyone else. They live long. They shouldn't. It's pretty explicit that demons don't live long because they fuck around too much, but I guess like that's more like non-natural life. Whatever. Anyway, they can see feet. They have a legacy. They can cast a few spells. This seems to be a very common and recurring thing of like, just give them some spells. Which I don't like. This devalues the concept of martials, but whatever. They can also, they all get Taumaturgy. Alright. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. Alright. You can gain resistance to poison. It's not bad. Poison's pretty common and not bad to ignore that for a good part. It's a poison condition that sucks though. Poison spray cantrip is garbage. Let me read it out for you so you understand just how bad it is. Because you probably forgot this spell exists. It has 10 feet of reach. 10 feet. Are you kidding me? Oh, I have to stand like a space. You extend your hand towards a creature within range and create a noxious puff of gas. They have to make a constitution saving throw or take 1d12 damage. Within 10 feet, as an action. And it's a d12. d12 is fine. Con save, very good at that. Monsters generally have good con saves. If you're within 10 feet and you cast this, you're probably going to get smacked. You're like 10 seconds away from a clapping. Ray of Sickness. Isn't that like alright? I think Ray of Sickness is alright. Let's take a look. Ray of Sickness takes 2d8 poison damage and must make a con save or they are poisoned. That's not bad. It's only until the end of your next turn. But, like, hey, it's a freebie. If you're a melee guy, it's a nice opening move, I guess. Like, hey, when they move up, they can't do as much. Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, man. You know, that's alright. It might be useful. Holy shit. Just giving you a whole person? They're just giving you a whole person. You know, that spell that breaks everything. The spell that literally is the reason why clerics in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons were considered busted. Jesus. I mean, it's 5th level, but, like, man, that's not... And it's also added to your spell list. It's also... this doesn't say that you cast it at a higher level, so it's still just a base version. So, that's alright, then. Yeah, but odds are you're going to fight people at some point. Necrotic damage is often used as rider damage on vampires and undead, so that's not a bad one to have. Chill Touch is the cantrip everyone always forgets how it works. Chill Touch lets you smack a bitch. And when you do so, they don't get to heal anymore. 120 feet. Oh, it's actually way longer range than I thought it was. 1d8 necrotic. It's a d8 necrotic. It's an attack roll, which you can get advantage on. If you hit an undead target, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against you, which is specific but nice. Might help. But they can't regain hit points until the start of your next turn. Chill Touch is not a bad cantrip. I mean, Toll of the Dead does more damage, but it's not a bad cantrip. False Life is a nice thing to have for free. False Life gives you extra temporary hit points. It gives you 1d4 plus 4. Listen, that's not much, but they last an hour. You can cast this before a fight. It's a freebie. You get it for free. It's alright. Alright? It's just, it's nice. It's not going to get you killed. It's just a nice thing to have. Like, hey, 5 to 8. It's nice. Ray of Enfeeblement. A lot of rays here. Let's look up the Ray of Enfeeblement. Ray of Enfeeblement. You shoot a bitch. Pow-pow. Excuse me. You shoot a person. Within 60 feet. Half damage with weapon attacks that it uses strength for. Good luck figuring it out for monsters. At the end of each of its turns, they can make... This is terrible. People that use strength for attack rolls are generally people with good con scores. But again, if you have time to spare and nothing better to do with your life, it's not bad. But like whole person blows it out of the water. Whole person is monstrous. Why does it not work on all people? He's just a humanoid. Everyone here is a humanoid. Even the tieflings are just people. Alright, Infernal Fire damage, that's alright. Fireball can't. Wow, this is a strong opener. You get one of the better cantrips, and you get one of the better damage resistances to have. Hellish. Wow, really, just oof. Coming out swinging. You get a reaction spell, which is just like always nice to have, and darkness. Okay. So, this one's kind of but necrotic resistance is nice. And the false life, they're all kind of good. I all like them. They all have something that's nice. Like, Old Person's nice, Poison Resistance nice, Necrotic Resistance is nice, this is nice, Relish Rebuke is nice. They all have something nice, and they all have like a stinker. This is kind of when you think about it. Kind of because it can also bother your friends. It's good for clogging and tactics, but you gotta use it right. You gotta know how to use it. And you're playing a tiefling. Odds are you're a rogue, and odds are you're an idiot who doesn't know how to play the game. And you get Thaumaturgy. Don't forget that part. Everyone gets that one. Okay. Oh, nice and simple. Build a background. Select a pre-made. Oh, let's take a look at the pre-mades. That's also nice. You're getting 50 gold pieces of... Okay, you get to keep any... Okay. Okay, don't forget to ignore that. Do you embrace or reject your background? How does it shape your worldview? Okay. Anyway, keep the Price is Right song in your head. It's great. Da 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 da. Bum bum ba ba. Ba 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 ba. It repeats the same thing over again. This is what you get for your background. Although this time it actually tells you how much money you get from the equipment. Okay, so far so good. So far so slick. Ugh. Let's see. Acolyte. Okay, these aren't great. I'm not too excited by this. It's just some random garbage. Strong enough to carry a bucket. I mean, these are alright. I kind of get what it's going for. Costume. Language infertile? The ancient language of deception. That's rude. Gnomish. Oh my god. I love that it feels the need to include, like, by the way, this is why you know this language. Wait, you can... Your background can give you thieves. Oh no, that changes everything. Unless they brought those out of... Mission the Great One has in mind for you. This is a very bad background because this inherently makes you anti-players from a certain perspective. This is a coupon for shenanigans on bad players. Technically, there's only one kind of bad player, and that's the asshole, and this is a coupon for him to be an asshole. God damn it. I thought you all learned from this. Like, I know, nice people aren't going to, but nice people aren't assholes, aren't problem players. The logic. Remember, common sense always applies. I'm smart enough to use my noggin. You know halfling, because you know, halflings, they're halflings. They hang out with people. Elvish, because that's the beautiful language. And then Aragorn writes a poem. Work. Okay, so these are pretty straightforward. I get so. So this all looks pretty good. I don't care about it because again, custom is the default. But yeah, sure is something. A noble speaks Draconic. What? You can tell that they are stretching. Ooh, you can just hear the stretching happening. We can't fit this. We want one of them to give Draconic, but we can't fit it in. Oh no. Primordial. Yeah, sure, you picked up Primordial to talk to the water. What's the water saying back, Primordial boy? Urchin, a common sign language. Used to be Drow sign language, but I guess the Drow are just weird people now. They got lucky. Alright, so far so good. You begin with a comment, provide a background. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. In each table, typical users of a language are mentioned. Anyone. But, you know, Primordial is also spoken by sailors, apparently. Alright. Okay, these are dialects. Okay, so this hasn't changed too much. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why doesn't the cultist know deep speech? Why does he know abyssal? Come on. This is the language of cool people. Yeah, Underdark folk. Because the Underdark has a lot of different people. You have the Snurveblum, or whatever they're called. You've got those grumpy dwarves. You've got the grumpy elves. You've got the grumpy mushrooms. You've got the grumpy frogs. Pretty much everyone down there is grumpy, and they're the same as up above. There's probably grumpy humans down there too. Let's look at the feats. Remember to wiggle your feeties for good luck. You got first level feats. Look at that. Prerequisite. Do you need anything? Repeatable. Now, I don't want to be that guy, but this is the part where I'm silent for a few moments as I pull up another PDF. That is a good question. You could just say underground people or populace. Maybe they ran out of space and they didn't want to make an extra white line. Like they wanted to limit it to just this height. Because formatting it. No, they have the space for an extra line. They could put that in. Yeah, they could just make it Underdark inhabitants. That's way more obvious. Anyway, Ironclaw. You might wonder, why am I pulling up Ironclaw? That has nothing to do with this. That's not even Pathfinder. Well, there's a reason for that. We'll get to that. Silence. Silence, Brand. Be patient and allow me to look it up. Because in Ironclaw, it actually had manifold and multiple. It actually had definitions for this. Residence is a nice one too. Multiple, you can take a gift multiple times and it functions exactly the same way. And manifold is a gift you can take multiple times, but you have to make a different choice every time. They should do that because they have gifts that do both. They have feats that do both, I think. Maybe they don't. I think they only have manifold. Anyway, alert. Alert used to be a feat that everyone under God's green earth took, because going first in combat is generally an upside. +5 to initiative, can't be surprised where you're conscious, and other creatures don't get advantage on attack rolls as a result of being unseen. Now, you just get to add your proficiency. You are basically proficient with initiative checks. Very weak comparatively, and you can swap your initiative, with someone else's if you want to. They have to be willing, and you can't use it if they're incapacitated. So, it's a bit more small, but it does the same thing. You basically get that +5 eventually, and a +6 later. Crafter. You have a discount on making stuff. Either you make it faster, or you buy it cheaper. Basically, you're a merchant. You're a haggler. And you gain some key proficiencies. I love, like, skilled is just skills, and this is like 3 tools, and it still gives you 2 big benefits. I mean, they're only as big as your GM allows you to make them. But hey. Does this... A non-magical item. Okay. I was going to ask, like, if you buy a magical item, do you go, hey, GM, I have a 20% discount? Healer. You get to slap people with hit dice. Oh, look. Okay. Okay, Path. Okay, 5. Okay, 5.51 D and done. I'm going to put up my fists. This is 4E all over again, isn't it? This is 4th edition. In 4th edition, you could give... Hey, you want to expend some of your... what would it called again? Healing surges? Yeah, they were called healing surges. They're called recoveries in 13th age, but they're called healing surges here. Want to expend one of your healing surges while I slap you on the ass? Ugh. Is it only the die roll? Or do you... I guess it's only the die roll. Healing rolls. Whenever you heal someone, with a spell or the battle medic. So if you have any other things that let you do it, doesn't count. You get to reroll a 1, which is alright, I guess. That's nice. Lucky. Well, heck, I guess we're going to have this talk now, don't we? Nah. Alright. Lucky. You gain luck points. You get a few of them, equal to your proficiency bonus. You start with 2, you end with 6. Whenever you roll a thing, you get to spend luck points to just get an advantage. It's just like inspiration, and it's just like the human thing. Whenever someone rolls it against you, you can spend the luck point to impose disadvantage, which might be useful, might also cancel out things like sneak attack and the lot. So, very powerful. Here we get some proficiencies and a discount. Here we get some initiative bonuses. Here, you can just use this on your initiative roll. Lucky is way too powerful, and it gets stronger when you realize how it interacts with inspiration. But like, no. Get rid of this. Throw it in the garbage, please. Don't. Do not. Magic Initiate. You get to learn some cantrips from a spell school of your choice, and you get a first level spell, and you can cast it with spell slots. It's the same as it's always been. I don't know if it's changed all that much. Let's see what about Lucky, actually. Because I think the Lucky mostly changed in terms of, like, utility, because Super Advantage is gone. Yeah, it used to be Super Advantage. Yeah, you could roll an extra to 1, and then you could choose which one. So a disadvantage could become Super Advantage. Initiate. That's pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same one. Musician. You can give people inspiration. Now, the way that this works... So, basically, you give everyone the benefit of being a human. In case you didn't notice, that's exactly what it does. For free. Just like that. It's pretty nuts. Like, that's kind of on par with Lucky. Except it's for the party. Ugh. Yuck. Yeah. If number of allies, if allies does not include you, you can give it to someone who already has inspiration and they can bounce it onto you, so... I don't know in what universe you need 3 musical instrument proficiencies, but alright. Savage Attacker. When you take an attack action, you can reroll the dice and take the charge. This is awful! Like, not great. You get much more DPS out of this. Or even out of this. I mean, I get it. I guess if you have a big swingy die like a D12 or 2D6, this can be pretty good. And it's once per turn. So you can save it and hope for the crit. It's alright, I guess. It's a nice thing to pick up. It can help. Especially if you pick up Dragonborn. Anyway, skill. Here's some skill proficiencies. Abracadabra. They're there. Tavern Brawler. Okay, cool. First, you're basically a baby monk. Or 3 languages? Same universe, radiate all weapon proficiencies, or 3 languages, or 3 multi-classes. Tavern Brawler, you become a baby. You become a baby man. A baby monk. You're a better monk than the monk is, because your class doesn't suck. Whenever you punch someone, which again is not a weapon attack, you can re-roll ones, which is actually good. That's pretty good. That massively ups the damage on most monks. Especially on crits. Shove. Whenever you smack someone with your hand, once per turn, you can push them. Not great, but it might just be what you need, and it can help combo. You can pick up furnishings, and they count as improvised weapons. Nice. Tough. You increase your hit points by 2. That's it. That's not bad. And together with Dwarf and this, Barbarian, 16, you can get 18 hit points at level 1. I mean, Pathfinder 2 characters are still going to blow you out of the water. And Cure Wounds is going to be 10 at most, so like, Anyway, some rules. Arcane Spells are spells in the Arcane list. Arcane Artisans tools cost this. Types are types. They don't do anything, but rules might reference them. D20 test. You automatically... Okay. Put up my hands. I'm going to put them out like this. I know the reason people are mad about this. I also think you're stupid, and you shouldn't use it that way. If rolling a 1 does not fail the check, you shouldn't roll the check. If a 20 does not succeed the check, you should not roll the check. If you are rolling for degrees of success, You're not rolling a d20 test. You are rolling to see a degree of success. And this does not apply. This rule does nothing. Nothing has changed. It's still the same. You just have to be slightly more judicious on when you call for die rolls and what those die rolls mean. But nothing has changed. You're a weird-ass baby man. Again, you don't call for a die roll unless A, it can fail, B, failure has a significant consequence, 3, you can succeed, aka a 1 can fail, a 20 can succeed. We've already established this. Like, this is obvious. This is self-evident. This explains the purpose of the dice, if anything. Also, it's like, DC's no greater than 30, no smaller than 5. If you roll a 20, you get inspiration. We'll get to that when we get to inspiration. It's here. But if you roll a 20 on a roll, you get inspiration. It doesn't bypass the limitations of success. It doesn't bypass the limitations of a test. So, in which case, you should not be rolling. I just explained this. It should not... explain people when they should roll for something. For fuck's sake. Critical hits. When you roll a critical hit, you can only do it with weapons and unarmed strikes. Again, they're not the same. People complained about this, but I imagine you still can't smite with... I wish I was playing the Price is Right song, because it would go perfectly with my disappointment. When you roll a 20, you get to roll the damage dice again. Exactly the same as it was in 5e. Here's the reason, right? Here's the reason. Spells, lots of dice, massive crits. Only a few attack spells, but the crits are juicy. They're also swingy. At low levels, an extra d6 on a goblin can one-shot players, can end games. Like, this is significant. This changes a lot. People are mad, but I don't think this is good. I think it's a good thing. I've seen what happens when you get Pathfinder 2e levels of crits, and it's not good. Great for the players. They have a lot of fun. But when it happens against them, it's the most depressing thing ever. It's just sad. I think this is a good thing, and people who complain, like, change it. But this should not be in the core rules, because, oh man, the amount of people who died to this is probably quite significant. And it's not even something that could have changed. It's not something that could have helped. They just got offed for no good reason by massive damage. Simple as that. And I think spells shouldn't, because frick magic users, they got enough going for them already. They don't need their 66 attack spell doing 12d6. Well, oh man, I only get 1 extra d6 on mine. Ugh. Like, that's the part that pisses me off the most, right? Is, oh, I get 1 extra d12, and the wizard gets 12 extra d6. There's no equivalence. Ugh, I get it. It's a daily resource, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Balance-wise, it makes for really odd and swingy situations. And crits should be exciting, but they shouldn't be everything. Let's look at some higher-level monsters. Let's just look at a big dragon. Dragons are always like a good thing to look at. I want to look at a big dragon. There are a lot of dragons. I should probably limit my search to, like, baby dragons. Like, just give me some dragons in the bestiary. Why am I in the... Why did it bunt me to the item section? I want to look at dragons. Adult black dragon's good. An adult black dragon does 2d... Yeah, okay. Mostly the flat modifier that makes that scary. Let's look at a giant. I think giants have a bit more of the big clubs. A cloud giant. How high level is he? CR9. That should be good. 3d8 or 4d10. The vast majority of his damage comes from those dice. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, that's nasty. Like, in Pathfinder 2e, dice doubling would work because marshals get more dice over time because of how the striking rune works. In 5e, it doesn't. Your critical is shit at first level. It's shit at 20th level. It's even shitter because you have a bigger modifier and your magic weapon adds damage. And so the die is like, bleh. So yeah, monsters benefit way more from crits. And so I'm okay with this. Because 1, screw spellcasters. They don't need this. 2, screw monsters. They have way more dice and thus their crits are way nastier. And 3, you know, it gives the marshals a locus. I can see where this is coming from, and I agree with it, and I think it should stay. Because, you know, it's the safer solution. Anyway, Grapple does something now. Anyway, I'm gonna read you Grapple. The old Grapple. The current day Grapple. Condition grappled. You are The condition ends if the grappler is incapacitated. Also ends if they move beyond reach, and your speed is 0. Can't benefit from speed boosts. That's the same as here. This also means you can't gain a negative speed, which I think is cute. Attacks affected. You, the grapple person, has disadvantage on anyone but the grappler, which means that grappling is now tanking. You can tank. You can get aggro by grappling people. Holy crap. And it's not a fighter thing. It's not a barbarian thing. Anyone can grab someone by the collar, and congratulations. You are now aggroing. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that just awesome? It's pretty good, right? You can drag them, but you do count as slowed. Basically, you move at half speed, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to that. Escape. While grappled, you can try to escape. Just that simple. Escape DC. Nice. When you're incapacitated, they just needed to clarify some stuff here. Incapacitated can't take actions or reactions. However, this was always part of that. This was kind of implicitly part of that. And this is new, if I recall correctly. This might not be new, but I think the way it is that all of these came from different spaces. They were in, like, oh, in concentration, this is there. But now they're like, listen, if you have incapacitation, here's everything you need to know. Redundancy, safety, and hello, new person. They like DM crits. Listen, overdoing damage and everything. Not what, no. Alright, now we get to the part where, I get really angry, and I think they should, like, I've mentioned before, there's some things here that need to smother before it gets too big. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. There's a game, the 2d20 system, Morpheus, I think. Morphidius, whatever they're called. They have a thing called the 2d20 system, and one part of that is momentum. If you score more successes than you need, it goes into the momentum pool, and people can take those successes out later for benefits. It's also a system where you get a lot more successes than one. You roll 2 dice for one, and you have like a chance of getting 2 successes per dice, but there's a lot going on, and you can get up to 4 successes, maybe more if you have more dice. Point is, you get lots of successes, you're probably going to get more than you need, and they go into a pool called momentum. It's a zero-sum game. And it's also the kind of zero-sum game where if one person's lucky, they can give their luck to someone else. They can be like, hey, listen, I just rolled 6 successes. I only need 2. I'm going to put 4 into the pool. And then the other guy's like, hey, I rolled garbage. I have nothing. I'll take 4 out. Now, give them, you feel good. It feels like teamwork. And then you could be like, oh, well, the reason that went that way is I kept busy with my sword. And you could get them in the back. You can be fun about it. Momentum is fun. This has a problem. It has 2 that's 3 major problems. And they were all brought up. I thought about these problems, but luckily someone else who is more eloquent than myself really put the smackdown on why this is a problem. Cave Girl, also known as Dying Stylishly on Twitter. Here we go. And her arguments are: argument number 1, metacurrency is a tool to get what you want out of a game. Tying it to lucky rolls. I'm just quoting the lady here, by the way. Tying it to the lucky rolls means players rolling well get to do cool stuff where players rolling poorly don't. It means that the player who's ahead stays ahead, and the player who's behind stays behind. Number 2, metacurrency lets you shape the flow of the game. You apply it based on the desires and needs of players. In a way, it can function as a soft safety tool. Tying it to lucky rolls means it's an unreliable resource. And also, you have to be lucky to get it. Number 3, you get it by rolling. The people who are going to get the most inspiration are people with 2-weapon fighting, reckless attack, or does this mean that if you roll with advantage or disadvantage and you get 2 20s, you get advantage twice? Inspiration twice. Ooh. Anyway, inspiration can chain with itself. Humans start with it. Lucky can give it to you. Your odds of getting inspiration and while using inspiration is higher than normal. My problem is, inspiration is very much on the higher level. Fighters are more likely to get it because they roll more attack rolls than most people do. As do rogues with if you attack twice on a turn, you're doing great. You want to roll saving throws. You want to roll attack rolls. You want to go for those 20s. Because getting advantage is just nice. You can give it to other people. You can give it to people who need it. That's kind of like momentum, but it's self-propagating. Momentum doesn't do that. Momentum is just like a spillover goes to someone else. Disadvantage gives inspiration. So, lucky is actually stronger because you can use lucky to give disadvantage on people. You can only use lucky to give yourself advantage. Inspiration to give yourself... Wow. That's so goofy. This is just awful. This benefits people who are attacking a lot. If you use Fireball, you're getting nothing. In fact, Fireball is just like is like recharge bait because recharging is apparently going to key into this. It's recharge bait. Getting Fireball, this system doesn't do what it needs to. This system would be a bajillion times better if you got it on a 1. If you utterly botch it, you get inspiration, carrying it forward. Now inspiration doesn't self-propagate. Now inspiration is something you get when you do poorly, and it feels better. It's like, I rolled a 1, but at least I have inspiration. However, I think that if 5e wants to go a narrativist route, if it wants to go for the non-simulationist, non-realistic storytelling perspective, if it wants to go there, this needs to go fuck itself. It shouldn't be related to a die roll, and it shouldn't be something that gives you advantage. Advantage is shit. It guarantees nothing. It gives you nothing. It's not good. It's not a good system. It's simple, but that's all it is. It doesn't help you in a way that's concrete and reliable because it's still a die roll. Again, momentum is you just get the successes. You just get the benefits. It should just be you get a success. You can just buy a success, but it's rare or it's a 1 a day. That way, when you do get inspiration, it matters. I just think that what they're going for doesn't do what it needs to. This means you either get on a lucky streak or your life sucks, you never get it, and you're sitting there like a sad sack whining. You might all forget it because your GM says you're really cool. If this is a problem, play Fate. Play Fate. You will learn to do this very quickly if you play Fate. Because Fate is a game that's entirely about fucking up to get the points you need to succeed. Because Fate is all about, oh no, my flaw makes this very hard because I'm stupid. And because of that, I get a Fate point, which I can do to be very strong later. Way better implementation. This is just absolutely garbage. It can self-chain. Humans get it, meaning they start off way stronger. Lucky is a better version of this and can just give it to you, meaning Lucky. It's bad. It's just so bad. Like, conceptually, it doesn't do what it needs to do. What it does, point taken. And again, marshals, who are most likely to benefit from criticals, are also most likely to get this because they're more likely to make more... Point made. Point made. Very angry. Bad. Long rests. Anyway, it's still 8 hours. 6 hours of sleep, by the way. Are you kidding me? These people are running around, fighting monsters, saving the day, under constant threat of death, and they sleep for 6 hours? I'm gonna... In medieval times, people would sleep when it got dark, and they would wake up in the middle of the night, and they would hang around. For thousands of years, humans slept in 2 shifts. And they slept a lot more than 6 hours. God damn it. How long was it biphasic sleep, though? I'm going to look this up, see if I can find it. 2 rest periods. The reason that was, by the way, is because it was so dark. Like, torchlight and everything is fine, but you wouldn't want to do it. Can medieval sleeping habits fix America's insomnia? How about you just have people work a normal living time, 6 hours a day, and pay them a living wage? Maybe people can sleep if they aren't constantly stressing out and working. I don't know. Maybe capitalism is to blame, you idiots. Ugh. Jesus. Well, maybe the problem is just that our workers aren't willing to die hard enough for us. Ugh. It disappeared because of artificial illumination. I know that. It's pretty cool. Technically, because permanent lightings exist in this game, like there's like that continual light, continual flame, shouldn't this setting also slowly but surely start to develop artificial lighting sleeping habits? Just saying. Like, the technology is there. 200,000 years ago, people started making beds out of grass and ash to sleep. You know, I also would like to sleep on the ashes of my ancestors. Let them infuse me with their strength. And when I bleed upon them, free comes the magic of the dead. Also, apparently the reason that some people are morning people and some people are evening people is so that there's no overlap and watch is easily kept. Anyway, you need to fuck around for 2 hours and sleep for 6 hours because 6 hours of sleep is healthy. Thanks, Watsy, for encouraging healthy habits. The benefits of a long rest is that you gain all your hit points and get half your hit dice. Rounded down. Why round it down? That just makes the uneven levels weird. They can benefit from more than long rest. You need to have 1 hit point. If you have 0, you're dying. So that's weird. You're just dying for an hour, for 6 hours. Anyway, just spend 6 hours being dead. You are interrupted if you are by combat or if you spend an hour doing this stuff. So, yeah. Same as it always was, I think. You'd still get the benefits of a short rest, but it's weird. This technically means that if you just bother someone after like 7-ish hours, you can force them to rest another 7-ish hours and you can keep them busy for days. Musical instrument prices are homogenized because, I don't know, the granularity isn't really needed. Like, I get it. I get granularity, but if it doesn't do anything, they'll keep it. You can cast spells during your rest, yes. I think that Pack Tactics mentioned like a bunch of things you can do with this. Like, if you cast something like Mage Armor before you wake up, like a rest casting is what it's called. You can cast spells before your rest finishes because you get your spells back at the end of the rest. So you can be like, oh, I'll cast my spells right before the rest ends, and then I get them back. It's very gamey, but like 5e doesn't give a crap. If you jump and you run out of movement speed, you fall to the ground. Slowed. You move. Basically, everything is difficult terrain. But it's not really. It's sort of. It's difficult terrain that stacks with difficult terrain. Attacks against you have advantage. This sounds a lot like Ironclaw. And you have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws because you're just that slow. You're not that fast. 2 proficiencies. Because giving you a skill called Carpentry would be confusing. Tremor Sense. They gotta be moving. Oh, creatures or moving objects. So yeah, you can't sense through walls. That's lame. That's so lame. The reason Argus has to take last watch is because people are most likely to wake up if he tries to eat them at that point. Alright. I mentioned this before. Unarmed strikes are not weapon attacks. Still. No smiting. Also, I didn't mention this, but critical hits. Only double dice. Not anything else. If it has no damage dice, it deals no extra damage. This is so sad. Anyway, you can also use unarmed strikes to grapple people. AKA, you make an attack roll, hit him, grab him. So that's kind of neat. This is weird because this means athletics doesn't do anything, but I guess it's fine. It's everyone gets athletics for free compared to Pathfinder 2e. I'm alright with this. Anyone should be able to do this. Anyone can do it. And they should be alright at it. And I think most people are proficient in it, so it's alright. I like it. So anyone can grab someone. Just give them a good grasp. Just give them a good grasp. This also means that Strength is a way more powerful ability score. Because it's the one you use for this. For grabbing people. And grabbing is how you get aggro. Spell lists. Anyway, they got some spell lists. And that's it. I am mixed. I think there's a lot of good in here. I think they're going to be making some of the biggest mistakes I've ever seen in my life if they follow certain pathways. Ba 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 ba. Thanks, Como, for not joining in on the call. When? Sorry, I just have the prices right in my head. Well, enough of that. We're done. I've said my say. I'm looking forward to the next one. I have no intention of playtesting this. I mean, I might allow some of this stuff to happen if I get that any 5e game off the ground. Be that Revisitation Rights or something else. Or the Call of the Netherdeep, which again, looks cool. Wouldn't mind running that sometime. Definitely want a, tried and tested group for that. Also, people point out that apparently Eldritch Blast isn't on here, so... Man, this is... Look at how sad this list is. Oh, man, I get, 6 cantrips. How many do you get? 12. How much is this? 4, 4, 8, 4, 4, 12, 4, 4, 16, 17. Ouch. 17, 10, and even in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, the divine casters get the shaft.
Wah.
Oh gosh, como.
God, you even had the coal set up for this. I was just talking in chat.
Fair enough.
But yeah, here's the question: isn't floor just a horizontal wall? So tremor sense never works.
Wait, what?
Like if I change the gravity, would tremor sense only work for walls because it becomes floor?
It says in contact with the same surface such as the ground, a wall, or a ceiling. Or the same liquid.
Huh.
Wait.
Also, for some reason, in Tasha's Cauldron, I think blind fighting style straight up gives you blind sense up to 10 feet.
I want to point something out. A dwarf who touches stone in
It's
water
inappropriate.
gains tremor sense in the water.
Really?
They gain the tremor sense, but it's not limited to the stone. They just need to be touching it to gain it.
Okay, so I just give the dwarf to hold a stone and I toss him in the lake.
I think it needs to be solid enough surface. So maybe if you carry a table around with you, it's fine. Okay.
If I make a dwarf hold another dwarf.
Just rub dwarves together.
Yeah, exactly. Rub dwarves together and you get magic.
Here we go. Where is it? Blind fighter, right? Nope. Where is it?
It's a fighter first class features. It's a fighting thing and a fighter thing.
Yeah, I have it in front of me.
Not here in like the actual thing. If you open 5e tools, go to fighter. It has fighting style right there. You adopt a particular style of fighting. Yeah, there's blind fighting. You have blind sight to a range of 10 feet.
I don't. I think. Do I have certain books now?
I don't know. You probably have a filter on. Here, let me just DM you.
No. I'm just gonna type in blind. Here it is. Here's blind fighting. Yeah, the original version was that not seeing things gave you no disadvantage. Here we go. Blind fighting. You have blind sight with a range of. Oh, it's blind sight. With a range of 10 feet. Within that range, you can see anything that isn't behind total cover, even if you're blind or in total darkness. Moreover, you can see an invisible creature in that range unless it successfully hides from you. Wow.
Yeah, and I told the DM, it's like, hey, I'm not using my interception. I want to switch it to blind sense. And he said, okay. And I said, well, to be fair, there's two versions which one I should take. And he said, the second one is overpowered as hell, so take the first one. It just doesn't give disadvantage. Because we've been fighting a lot of monsters that do, like, if you look at them, they fuck you up.
Hey, technically speaking, no. Don't forget that Invisible's disadvantage imposition and advantage granting doesn't change as a result of this.
Yes.
You just know where they are. It doesn't. Thanks, 5e, for your bullet points. Anyway, that was that. That was fun. I hope I get to be as. Actually, I kind of hope to be optimistic because, like, there's a lot here that I'm okay with. That's fine. I mean, I don't care. It's a lot of side grading, a lot of shuffling around. I am worried, however, that this inspiration stuff is like the indication of some really bad decisions that come from really bad places.
I mean, you know what what they're going to say. It's like, oh, you can always play the old version.
Like this I'm fine with. This I understand. This makes sense. This is good. This, however, is also lucky. Get rid of this. This is a zit, a sore, a wart. Remove it. Como, you know that the reason you can't make half breeds is very simple. Because humans would take I start my day with inspiration, and I have the lucky thing from halflings. I also have the lucky feat. You start the day with inspiration, you got the 3 luckies, you got the halfling reroll. Oof.
I don't think half breeds are possible just because it's like.
Yeah, that's why they didn't allow it.
Yeah. It's like just genetically it doesn't work, I mean.
I inherited my luck from my dad. I have the lucky gene. The gene of the Irish. Wait a minute. The halflings are just Irish. They're fearless. They're lucky. You would definitely see them with an Irish accent. And just like the Irish, who got involved in one hell of a thing against the British. Sneaky too. Oi, 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 oi. What the hell is that? Ugh, Finnegan Fox doing community service. So cute. Whatever, I'm done. I'm gonna go get a bite to eat or something like that.
Okay.
Nice
Before
having
you
you around,
go.
Como. Don't forget, the game is in like 6 hours.
Yeah, I know. I need to sleep for it, but before that, let me send you something silly.
Here's our next wacky plot. I have become a luchador. The guys at the gym have even given me a lucha name. La puta. I don't know, but I know that's a bad word. Poor guy.
Plot twist, he knows exactly what it means.
Consider my plots twisted.
Yes.
Anyway, I did this entirely for the clout, and partially because there's some opinions that I feel that needed to be that I just want to voice that I didn't see anyone else bring up, including like the fact that Unearthed Arcana is apparently an umbrella term for whatever the hell they feel like. Would you trust this man with
No.
your new edition?
No.
Like, here's the thing, right? A lot of new editions tend to come around because new people flow into the company, they get into senior positions, and they're like, hey, I want to do something else. I've learned so much, I want to try something else. It's really weird these guys are doing this. When 5th edition does need an overhaul, but it needed it like 5 years ago.
Yes.
The situation is awkward and kind of clumsy, and it feels a lot like it's money. They know that they're going to plateau soon because Stranger Things goes away, and a lot of things are like, and like, I don't know, it's possible that within 2 years, Critical Role switches to their own system or whatever they're planning to do. Like,
They know they will fall apart because they're trying to appeal to people who don't play their fucking game.
No. I think the problem is that I mean, I always say people don't play 5e. From that perspective, yes. The problem is I don't think these people have any incentive to come along with them. I think that they know that they're going to plateau and the numbers are going to flatten out and they need a big sales buff to get those numbers back up again. Short-term solution with a long-term planning, terrible idea. Dad's home. She did not find it as... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, man. Now to see what it's like to be a local rapper. Oh. Plant claymores in the grass. After reading their third IRS audit letter. You know, you gotta bond with kids, you know? Even if that bonding involves putting some high explosives that violate several Geneva conventions in your backyard. Anyway, go to bed, Como. I'm gonna pop off. But before we go, I need to say my traditional catchphrase. What's poppin', gamers? No, I gotta say it right. What's poppin', gamers?
Mostly my knees.
Same, but not as painful. More like snippety snap broke mother's back. Alright, see you later, Como. Sleep well. See you for the game. It's gonna be vampires, yeah.
Yep.
Game over,
Home is
yeah!